So hello students, today I'll be covering part 2 of NPSC 2015 mains question paper. So आज मैं Nagaland portion complete करो for 74 marks. That is, we'll proceed from 2 marks, then 5 marks, 10 marks and 20 marks, and I'll be completing each and every question with detail. So let's get the video started. So the first question for 2 marks is, name the highest peak in the mountainous state of Nagaland. So the highest peak in mountainous state is, for 2 marks we can just write Mount Soramanti at a height of 3,840 meters above the sea level, and it is located near Thanamar village in Khaifiri district of Nagaland. Next, mention the major agriculture food produced in Nagaland. So some of the agriculture food that is produced is rice, millet, maize and pulses. So you can write for 2 marks. How Nagaland figures in seismic zone. So we know that Nagaland is in the high risk zone of earthquake. So we can write that Nagaland, along with the rest of the northeastern states and region of Kashmir, western and central Himalayas, northern Bihar, falls under seismic zone 5. This is very important, seismic zone 5, and which are the areas with the highest risk of earthquakes. So for 2 marks, no need to explain much, just focus on this lines. We can get it short 2 marks. Next, why Assamese language remains powerful amongst various Naga tribes. So Assamese language, uh, the Naga people used a perverted form of Assamese called Nagamis, and it is also a means of communication among the various tribes of us Nagas, and it is understood by um, both literate as well as illiterate people of Nagaland, and it brings about a sense of unity and belongingness among the Nagas, and it is used as a medium of communication between the various tribes of the Nagas, which are separated by various dialects. Next, what is Khel? So we already know that Khel is a portion of a village. That is, if this is a village, a portion of a village that is inhabited by people belonging to same or different clans is called a Khel, and these are distinct Naga institutions that brings together several clans within the village community, and it is the membership is by birth or heredity, and no decision village decision is taken without the consensus of the Khels, and it is known by different names called Mepu in Ao, Asa in Sumi, Yanko in Lotha, and Kedo Teno in Angami dialect. Next, what is Morong? So Morong, we already know that it is a dormitory for young people in traditional Naga society, and people, boys after reaching a certain age, they enter the Morong, and they are known by different names. That is, Aus call it Ariju, Lothas call it Chambo, Angamis call it Kichuki, and Konyaks call it Ban. So for 2 marks, we can write just these 2 points. Next, what was the Akbar-Hydari Agreement of 1947? So the Akbar-Hydari Agreement is also known as the 9-point agreement, and it was signed between the Naga leaders, that is the NPSC, and the governor of Assam, Sir Akbar Muhammad Saleh Akbar Hydari, on 26th of July 1947. And what was contained in the Akbar Hydari Agreement? That is, it provided judicial, executive, and legislative power as well as autonomy in land related matters to the Nagas. So, in short, it is the 9-point agreement that was signed between the Naga and NNC leaders and the governor of Assam, Akbar Hydari, in 1947. So how was the Naga Hills Tinsang area formed? So the Naga Hills Tinsang area is related to Nagas People's Convention, which was formed in 1954, and this organization, under the leadership of Dr. Imgong Liba, requested the Indian government to give them a administrative unit. So during the first meeting held in Kohima in 70, held in 19 uh, during the first meeting, it was held in Kohima, where 1,756 delegates were held, and they demanded a new administrative unit, and thus on 1957 the Naga Hills Sinsang area was formed with 3 districts in Mogokchung, Tinsang and Kohima. So What are the different branches of the planning department? So planning department is divided into many branches. This is planning branch. Planning branch is related to the development programs and execution, evaluation, monitoring of plant implementation, and plan coordination, field studies, and manpower planning. And general administrative branch, that is urban development, including development authority of India, statistics department, and evaluation department. So we can write this as the planning department is divided into the planning branch and the general administrative branch. Next, what is the function of the Administrative Training Institute? So the Administrative Training Institute is located in Kohima and it was established in 1972. And the main function is that it to identify the training needs of all civil servants, to design training programs and impart training programs and impart the training to the civil servant. That is, first identify the training needs, and then design the appropriate training procedures, programs, and impart the training to the civil servants selected through NPSC. What was the matters that was dealt by the confidential branch of Home Department? So the Home confidential branch of the Home Department deals with various matters. We can write only four for 2 marks. That is, matters relating to the political parties and activities, matters relating to political and administrative importance, law and order, and internal security. So for 2 marks, if you write these 4 points, then we can guarantee at least 2 marks. What is work study training? So work study training means uh, studying during work. So it is a program in which government provides financial supports to government servants to undergo special type of training, and this training should be related to the work that you're doing so that it will benefit the government. So work study training basically means that suppose you are a medical officer and you want to pursue specialist in some branches, so the government will grant some years, basically 2 years, so that you will be able to study and return to the government department and apply your skills in benefiting the government. So this is work study program. Next, the um, for 5 marks, what write a short note on the Purvachal, that is a southern turn of the Himalayas running through the northeastern states. So what is Purvachal? Purvachal is basically, so if we look at the map of Nagaland, India, so this is the map of India. So the Purvachal is the eastern extension of the Himalayas. So we know that the Himalayas extends from the north and it extends to the south, and the extension of the Himalayas to the eastern part of the India is also known as the Purvachal, and it covers states such as Arunachal, uh, Arunachal, Nagaland, Manipur, Meghalaya, Mizoram, etc. So it covers the state of Assam, Arunachal Pradesh, Manipur, Nagaland, Mizoram, Meghalaya, Tripura, and it is the eastern extension of the um Himalayan mountain system, and it it bends sharply to the south beyond the Dihong River Gorge and spreads along the eastern boundary of India with Myanmar, and the Purvachal range includes the Patkai, the Bareil, the Mizoram, the Manipur, and the Naga Hills. And this composes of strong sandstone geographical formation. So for 5 marks, if we can just write these points, then we can at least expect 4.5 out of 5. Next, describe the stature and color of the nagas. What is stature? Stature means uh, the height of a naga. So nagas are of sub medium height, not too short, not too tall, and facial index is very low. Nasal index corresponds to a medium nose, so we have small medium nose, and the hair is generally straight, and eyes do not show Mongolian form. So the physical feature of a naga is that the eyes is not sharp as compared to the Chinese or the Japanese, but it is not so small. And the color is that the color of the nagas are generally brownish yellow, not so yellow, not so whitish, not so black, but yellowish brownish yellow in color. And some tribes such as the Lothas and the Konyaks are slightly dark in color, and the women are golden skin color but fair in complexion. So the stature we can write is not too short, not too slow, not too tall, and facial index is low. Nasal corresponds to a medium nose and hair generous shade, and eyes are not so small as compared to the uh, Chinese. And the color is that the most of the Nagas are brownish yellow in color, except for some tribes such as Lotus and Konyak. Some parts of the Lotus in Konyak areas which are slightly dark in color, and most of the girls are women are golden skin but fair in complexion as compared to the males. So next question, briefly describe how developmental activities expanded in the 1960s under the Nagaland Secretariat. So we know that Nagaland achieved statehood only in 1963 after the 13th constitutional amendment of India, and it was announced as the 16th state of India. So after the development after attaining statehood, Nagaland formed the Nagaland Secretariat, and prior to attainment of full-fledged statehood, the Indian body served. So the Indian body, which was the body that was formed before the general elections, was served as a de facto legislative assembly from 1961. After the General Assembly, when P. Shilu became the first Chief Minister of Nagaland, the full-fledged authority was ushered in. The nucleus office of the chairman was converted into a legislative assembly secretariat under the separate secretary, and the whole assembly hall was considered unsuitable for the purpose of legislative assembly. So it led to the establishment of the secretariat building, the double-story assembly hostel consisting of 10 rooms, which was constructed in 1965. So following this, all the departments were shifted to the Nagaland Secretariat area, and after this, most of the departments are established there. Next, identify some sticky problems facing Nagaland administration today. So red tapeism. Red tapeism means following the rules and regulation to um, and making it bureaucratic in nature. So excessive regulation to rules that is considered redundant or bureaucratic and hinders and prevents action or decision making is one of the problems that is facing in Nagaland. Relativism, nepotism means providing patronage to own family members by the officers in appointment, employment, etc. Bribery or corruption, that is providing money to do something for them. The act of giving and receiving something in return for some kind of influence or action in return that the recipients will otherwise not offer. And next is Indians insensitivity of administrative officer, that is insensitive towards the needs of the people, in unholy nexus between political leaders, bureaucrats, and insurgents. We know that Nagaland is plagued by many insurgent problems, so there is an unholy nexus between them which hinders the economic development growth in Nagaland. So these are some of the reasons. So we can write for 5 points. That is, first, we can write red tapeism. Second is nepotism. Third is bribery. Fourth is insensitivity of the administrative officers, and fifth is unholy nexus between the political leaders, bureaucrats, and insurgents. So these 5 points we can write for 5 marks, which will be around 100 to 150 words. Next, for 10 marks is, do you agree with the view that the trait running throughout Naga people in their cheerful disposition explain the significance? So what is this question trying to ask? So this question is trying to ask the cheerful character of the Nagas. So we know that every Nagas are both cheerful and sociable in nature, and this is a very precious and rare trait among our characters, and which we observe every now and then among all the tribes of Nagaland. And a Naga can easily identify the presence of another fellow from a group. So we can identify another fellow of another Naga fellow just by looking, or just by seeing by the way they talk. And this he can do not only by the physical feature but by the by listening to the monstrous laughter from the person group of um, monstrous laugh of the person or the group of person, and it is a common sight when a group of Nagas get together and they burst into monstrous laughter intermittently and mindful of the subject matter whatsoever. So, and mindful of the subject matter, the Naga people burst into laughter. So, it is a very peculiar trait among the Nagas, and each will join the laughing exercise and elongate the duration redundantly. This shows that cheerfulness is innate to Naga society, and there's a popular saying that Nagas can go without food for days, but they cannot survive without merrymaking and laughter to full breath. So, so this is the most peculiar trait that is found among the Nagas, that is laughing together when they are in a group, and expanding the merrymaking, uh, which may be related to the matter or not. So, what is the reason behind this? So, the reason may be because the natural environment and surrounding, which is very blissful, and which in the scenic beauty of the Nagas, of the Naga hills, and the various lushes of green has helped us to evolve into this type of character. Second is the historical conflict, that is, we have been under various bloodshed, hatred, and genocide. So to escape from this agony, we may have adopted this kind of nature, and and another plausible reason is that this may have obtained in the later stages of our development after a tiresome epoch of tribal seclusion, hatred, and headhunting. So headhunting, in order to escape from headhunting and bring about a change among our fellow Nagas, we might have developed this kind of feeling. And the coming of the Naga club paved the way for tribal unity, and the formation of the Naga club in 1918 to bring together all the Nagas under one, also may be one of the reasons uh, why we have developed this character. And isolation from the outside world, there is no contact with the outside from the outside world. This might have led us to develop this peculiar trait, and every Naga is contented with himself in the past with whatever was available to him. So the the nature of the Nagas being contented with whatever he had and not depending on others was maybe one of the reason why they might have why we might have developed this kind of nature. So these are the many reasons that may be responsible for our cheerful character. So if we write this, we can we will be able to score at least out of 10 8 or 7 marks, not 10 marks. We cannot expect full 10 marks out of this. Next, why is the linguistic topography of Nagaland remarkable? So first look at the question. So they are asking linguistic topography. So it is telling us to find out the why different regions of Nagaland have different languages. So this is the state of Nagaland, and there are many districts. There are total 12 districts, and each and every districts have uh, various tribes that belong to different that have various dialects. So Nagas belong to the multilingual society having its own dialect. Ours, for example, have two or more dialects. Even within the tribes, we have dialects such as, even in ours, we have Mungsan and Chungli with considerable degree of variation. Also, with the case of poems, Konyaks. The language situation among the Nagas tribes have become so complicated and problematic. Since there was no common language to all tribal groups, it hinders for easy exchange of ideas among themselves. And none of the Naga dialects did not have any script before the advent of foreign Christian missionaries. So our Naga dialects were only oral in nature, not written in nature. So this might be the reason. It is the English missionaries who introduced education to the people of Nagaland, and hence all dialects were rendered in English language. So this is one of the reason as to why English language was used for writing our own dialect. So the division of our dialect. So Nagaland dialect is divided into two types, that is Siamese Chinese subfamily and Tibeto-Burman subfamily. And the Siamese Chinese includes the dialect of Khambis of Arunachal Pradesh, and Tibeto-Burmese includes the Himalayan group, Bodo group, and Naga group, etc. And each group had a number of dialects under it among the Nagas. So the sub Chinese subfamily and the Tibeto-Burmese subfamily are the different um, different categories of dialects in Nagaland. So why was there scattering of dialects? The different linguistic groups are scattered all over the districts such as Mukokchung, Wokha, Zenabudha Fek can be described as the home of linguistic group of Aus, Lotas, Semas, Chakisang, etc. However, Tuanzang is a cluster of many linguistic groups, that is Chang, Sangdam, Sinjangor, Khimingans, and Cheers, Thikirs, etc. Similarly, in Kohima also there are many dialects such as Angami, Ziliang, Rengma. While Rengmas inhabit the northern part, Ziliangs inhabit the southern part, and Angamis in the middle. And dialectical variation. Each Naga tribe has its own dialect. So even within the Aus, there are many dialects, and even within the Chungli speaking Aus, there are many variations of language, such as, for example, if we talk about the Chungli dialect, so there are different pronunciation for Ungmas, for Changdongyas, for Chuchimlangs, for uh, for Gangzungs. So even if they are all part of the same Chungli speaking, there are variation of dialects within each and every dialect. So this may be attributed to the socio-political administrative condition of our Nagas, that is, we were secluded from each other during the days of head hunting, and as a result of it, it led to the evolution of many dialects between, even among the Aus. And and Ao Chungli can understood the dialect of Mungsun dialect. Same is the case with the Kaunama village dialect with the Kohima dialect, Kohima village dialect. The main problem is that when two villages of different tribes converse, the confinement of each tribe in the particular territorial area separated from others by lofty ranges covered with thick vegetation might have contributed to the emergence of a new dialect from the original dialect. So this is the explanation for this answer. So if you write a few points about this, then we will be able to score from 20 marks at least 15 to 10 to 15 marks. So with this, we come to the end of the second part of the video. I hope you all like the video. Please like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you.